When it comes to great American icons, there are few in the boating world quite as well known as this boat. This is the Hinckley Talaria 44. Now, Hinckley are an American brand and they produce absolutely beautiful boats. They're probably best known for the picnic boat range, which this is kind of an extended version of. So it's 44 foot long, but exactly the same principle of a semi-covered wheelhouse, beautiful lines, absolutely stunning craftsmanship and quality. And I think perhaps the best way of explaining just how timeless and beautifully built they are is by letting you know that this is not in fact a brand new boat. This is in fact 20 years old. But when you first look at it, you would have absolutely no idea. It looks completely mint. And I think that is down to partly the timeless styling, but also the craftsmanship and the build quality from when it was new. But just look at those lines. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, so we're going to jump on board and have a good look round and explain and show everything about this particular design. So first up, that iconic tumble home stern. Now, if you don't know what tumble home means, and there's no particular reason why you should, but this is perhaps a very easy and clear example of showing you. It's this shape here where it comes up and over and pinches in, and we call that a tumble home stern, but it's something about it that just makes it absolutely beautiful to the eye. And if you can get a view down that top side, you can see how it flares out at the bow and then curves all the way back over into a tumble home. It's just a continuous, beautiful, single, swooping curve. So let's step onto the bathing platform and we'll take a closer look. So the other thing about these Hinckley boats is that they're all jet drives, and you can just see that here. And you see those buckets, we call them, extending out there. They're Hamilton jet drives. So it sucks the water in, pressurize it, and then blast it out at high speed, and that's what drives the boat along. It's exactly the same principle as a jet ski, but just on a much bigger scale. And the reason it has those big buckets is because in order to go into reverse, you can't run the jets in the opposite direction. So a big bucket comes down, physically engages over the jet drives themselves and effectively forces the water to blast round and back in the other direction, and that enables it to go astern. Now, if we just step on board, you can see this is just an extended bathing platform over those buckets, and we've got this beautiful transom gate here that comes across and shuts into place, but swings open and then nudges into there, and that holds it in place. Lovely, lovely cockpit area, and just look at the standard of the woodwork here. It is so glorious. Beautifully varnished, going to take a little bit of upkeep, but again, just remember this is a 20-year-old boat and it looks as if it was built yesterday. So lovely open cockpit area, lots of good storage, nice little locker there for ropes and maybe a small fender or two, access to everything here. Engines and jet drives are under here, so we'll have a look at those later, but lovely teak flooring. You can see there is slots for the table to so no, I think that actually extends out into a sun pad if you want to make a sun pad here, but again, wooden brackets for that to slot into there. And then as you move forward, you come under the cover of this open wheelhouse. You can see this is just a canvas extension that provides a bit of shade over the aft end of the cockpit, but moving forward, it is a solid coach roof. Again, so beautifully done, these highly varnished wooden handholds, this perforated lining. It's just timeless classical elegance. Side windows here, again, all framed, beautiful woodwork. Traditional navy blue or royal blue seating area around here. The main dining area over on this side, again on a stainless steel support, but that same beautiful high varnish woodwork. Couple of individual seats. You've got the navigator seat over on this side, manual adjustment, forwards, backwards, up, down, and on this side too. Little supporting armrests. Very fine magazine, one really ought to read that, exactly where you'd expect to find it on a Hinckley. And all these lockers, You see they're all beautifully vented here, so you don't get any moisture retained in there. They all breathe beautifully. Stunning helm position, classic wooden wheel. And these were arguably the very first of the joystick controlled boats because of those jets. You've got jets, the control of the jets, and again you've got superb maneuverability, so you can move exactly how you want to. That will adjust the jets and the buckets exactly as you need. You can see that that slides back along a channel here, so opens the whole thing up. Nice mix of analog dials on either side for the key information, engine temperatures, fuel, oil, etc. But then big navigation screen. Lovely wooden dashboard, throttle set into that. Now the engines on these are twin 440 horsepower Yanmars. That will give you a top speed of around about 31 knots, I think. Yeah, 31 knots with a cruising speed of 26 knots. Again, being such a classic timeless boat, you've got a proper chart area over on the port side, windscreen wipers on each of the 3 screens, manual overhead hatches, lights all along, and very easy access to all the battery, switchgear and so on just behind that sliding perspex door. So there's strong focus on seamanship, you know, making everything accessible, practical. Nothing's going to break, it's not going to fail because some computer says no. It's all beautifully done, but manual. Steps down into the cabin. Again, you can see we've got a beautiful wooden hatch here that just folds over, and the same vented door on this side. And look at this. Now this is what a proper yacht should look like. So elegant, so sophisticated. Look at the beautiful craftsmanship on that curve there. Lovely teak and holly floor. It is quite slippery because it's so highly varnished. And there you can see that's the Talaria 48, so that's effectively a brand new version of this boat, but that's the more typical size picnic, 35 footer, and they do sports boats too. Nice lower dinette area here. Again, lots of useful little storage lockers everywhere you look. This is an owner's boat, so I won't poke around too much, but you get the idea. And this same lovely coach roof detailing overhead. Very smart little reading light, brass plaque, subtle inset speakers. And again, this is a nice detail. Each of these steps, now you can see these haven't been varnished for a very good reason. Obviously when you're coming down you want a bit more grip, but every single one of these lifts up and you've got extra storage underneath all of these. So not an inch of wasted space. Over on the starboard side we've got the galley. Again, very seaman-like. We've got hatches overhead, nice U shape, so there's always somewhere to hang on to. All these edges are fiddled, so nothing will slide off. Got a proper ship's gas ring there, so everything held in place if you're in a bit of a seaway. Again, positive latch on the oven, locks it into place. And then even the fridge is rather unique. We've got side access through here, but also access from on top. If you want to just reach in and grab yourself a cold beer, you can go in this side too, or indeed this side. So just so well thought out. And again, these lovely vented lockers, storage for all your crockery, glasses, coffee cups. So nicely done. And these little drawers, you see they're on positive latches, so you have to lift them up a little bit to open them. And that just keeps them held in place, so once they drop down, then they're not coming out in any kind of sea. You have to physically lift them up over that little latch. Just even here, I think this is the bin. Exactly where you need it to be and just opens up, but beautifully hidden behind one of those vented locker lids. Moving forward, we've got the shower on the starboard side. Again, I love the fact that the shower and the heads compartment are in separate areas, so both can be used at the same time. Nice teak seating, clever storage, lots of natural light. You've got a little port here as well as an overhead light, hooks for hanging your towels, bathrobe, whatever. And then over on the other side, we've got the heads compartment. Again, really good size, beautifully finished, lots of natural light, very unfussy, exactly how a proper ship should be, or a little ship. Oh, close that up. And again, hooks on all the doors, so nothing complicated, but it does just mean you can latch that in and ensure there's a little bit of ventilation if you want to keep it semi-open, or at least semi-closed, I should say, but still have some kind of ventilation. And then through to the cabin in the bow area. Now this is just where the boat starts to curve in, but you've got those big flared bow. Again, lots of storage under here. All those positive drawers lift up, slide open. Decent sized bed. It's a little bit tapered at the end, but runs all the way back. It's a good size, probably a queen size double. Beautiful detailing all the way around here. You can see all those little screw holes have been filled in. Beautifully done. Lots of light here. We've got a big hatch overhead. Again, storage everywhere. Just so beautifully done. And again, don't forget, this is a 20-year-old boat. So we're just going to take you briefly up the side deck so that you can admire the view from there. If we just step up over this cockpit coaming. Again, lovely wooden handholds as you make your way along the bow. Oh, sorry, along the side deck to the bow. Now this, I think, is just the gas locker, but again, how sensible is that? Outside, well vented, not in anybody's way. Keeps it nice and safe and secure. Lovely big flat bow area. Now it hasn't got guardrails because that would spoil the styling of it. I'm sure you could fit guardrails if you wanted to, but actually because it's so big and flat and with a non-slip surface on it, it doesn't feel remotely dangerous or slippery or anything. It feels perfectly safe. But look at that beautiful view. Got these tow rails just to stop your foot slipping over the side. Again, more grab rails. These are all the skylights that we saw earlier. And exactly the same down this side. And look at that for a little detailing. Because you've got the cleat there, you can see they've put a little stainless steel rub rail so that the rope doesn't wear away at the varnish. Now this is the kind of details that only become clear when people really understand how their boats are used. And this one is clearly not only a very well looked after boat, but also a well used one. Now all these hatches give access down into the engine room, so if I just grab one of these handles, we can probably take a closer look. So if I just, again, they just slot in there, open that up, and that one there, open that up, then you can lift it up. And now these are the two big jet drives, so you can see that this is where the water is sucked up from under the boat. It's impelled, there's a big impeller in there that pressurizes it, and then it blasts it out these big jets at the back. And these are just access hatches, so if you do get any kind of blockage, you can undo that, get access to it, and see what's causing the problem. So those are the jet drives, and then further forward, you just lower this again. Close that up, don't want to forget that. Now if we open this one, we should be able to see engines. And here we can see, if we drop down in here, there are the two engines, so 440 horsepower each side. Look like they're big straight six engines. Again, exactly the same over on that side. And those leading back to the jets themselves. Now, as well as access through this hatch in their floor, there is more extensive access to the engines under these seats. So if you see, both of these twin corner seats lift up on electronic rams. And the other thing you can see now that these are opening is that there's dedicated stowage for those sunbed extensions. So you see these wooden slots here, these come out, slot into these two brackets here, and that's where you get the extended sunbed. But now you can see you've got proper access to both engines all the way round, making it much easier to work on. So you can drop down through that hatch in the floor for a quick peek just to check on levels and so on. But if you need to actually top anything up or work on the turbos or anything more extensive, then you have got proper access through these lifting seats. Now then, price for this, I think we've got the listing here. If we look carefully, we can see that the price for this is 750,000 UK sterling, including VAT. Now, £750,000, that's a good amount of money, but then new, this boat is going to be many millions of pounds. And the fact that you can't really tell that this is a 20-year-old boat, it may look, you might think it's maybe 2 or 3 years old, but 20 years old, you just wouldn't know. And the great thing about having a boat that is as timeless as this is that there's no giveaway there too. The styling is going to look as good in 20 years' time as it does now. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this prime American icon. It is a thing of absolute beauty. They're surprisingly rare over here in UK waters, but when you do get to see one, it really does stick in the mind. So do please let me know what you think about this boat. It is a genuine American icon, but one that looks and works equally well here in the UK. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.